Now in this video we're going to study about the Prime Minister, who appoints him, what are his powers and functions. We're going to study that in detail till we end the chapter. The Prime Minister of India. Now you know who the Prime Minister of India is, Narendra Modi. The Prime Minister is appointed by the President. Very important point, who appoints the Prime Minister? It is the President. However, it is only the formal power of the President. In reality, the Prime Minister is the leader of the majority party or coalition parties in the Lok Sabha. That means what happens is the duty, the function, the ceremonial function is performed by the President. He appoints the Prime Minister. But actually, how is the Prime Minister elected? He is elected by the majority party which has won the elections. They decide, the people in the party, whichever party wins the elections, those members decide who is going to be their Prime Minister or their leader, right? He is elected as such as the party or the party's MP, and the President has to invite him to form the government. So basically the President invites him to form the government, but who elects him? Because he is a leader of a certain party and that party has won the election, that is how he becomes the Prime Minister. Actually, political parties put up their prime ministerial candidate in the general elections. Practically, the entire strength of 814.5 million electorate is thus psychologically involved in the election of the prime ministerial candidate. So what happens is, when the elections are going to be held, the parties already put a list of who they want to be as the prime minister in case they win those elections. In 1999, the BJP led NDA, National Democratic Alliance, got a clear majority in the Lok Sabha. The NDA elected late Shri Atal Bihari Vajpayee as its leader, and he was sworn in as the Prime Minister by the President on 13th of October 1999. So this is one example. You should know, if you're asked in your text or in your test, who give an example of any Prime Minister, who appointed him, and which year was it. So you can give this example. In 2009, the Congress Party, along with its electoral allies, UPA, United Progressive Alliance, got their majority in the Lok Sabha elections. Dr. Manmohan Singh became the Prime Minister, and in 2014, NDA once again got a clear majority and Narendra Modi became Prime Minister. So this paragraph is basically about telling you how the Prime Ministers kept changing. It was one time it was late Shri Atal Bihari Vajpayee, then it was at one time in 2009 Dr. Manmohan Singh, and then in 2014 we had Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who is still in power right now. Now, what are the powers and functions we're going to study? If you're asked in broad category, what are the functions, then you will list only the headings. They are from A to F, number of headings, that means 6 headings. If you're asked to explain each heading, then you will give the subcategories. Now, powers, functions and the position of the Prime Minister. Now, the Prime Minister is a very important person in our country, and we need to study this very carefully, and we need to understand each point. A Prime Minister has a relation with the President. Now, what relations does the Prime Minister have with the President? The Prime Minister is the line of communication between the Cabinet and the President. He conveys Cabinet's decisions to the President and keeps him informed of all the national or foreign matters of the government. See, since the Prime Minister is the person who is ruling, who is understanding the present condition of the country, he has to inform the President about what's happening or whatever decision he and the party members or the cabinet or ministers decide, because they're always having meetings and certain discussions are made and certain points are discussed about and certain decisions are concluded. So to keep the President updated, it is the Prime Minister who has to inform the President about it. The Prime Minister advises the President to summon or prorogue the Parliament and dissolve the Lok Sabha. Sometimes what happens is the Prime Minister has to advise the President, because see, the President is the person who calls for a meeting. It is the Prime Minister who sometimes advises the President. You see, they both work together. If you want your country to function smoothly, so that each and every area of your country, all the problems, the matters are understood and discussed and problems are solved, every section of the government has to work together, even if it's the Prime Minister and the President. They are not two completely different people. It's not, there is a connection between them. They work together, decisions are made together, discussions are made together, and advice is taken from each other. We work together, and then a well thought of, constructive, effective decision is made which progresses the entire nation as a whole. So we just get to know that the Prime Minister advises the President. So he's a very important person. That means he has some logical thinking and his opinion matters. That is why he advises the President. The Prime Minister advises the President in appointing or removing high officials. Sometimes some officials have to be removed or new officials have to be appointed. So in that case, what happens? The Prime Minister, he again advises the President, because the real power is in the hands of the President, the appointment part. But who advises him? Who plays an important role in the decision making? It is the Prime Minister. Now the next function, the Prime Minister and his relationship with the Council of Ministers. We had his relationship with the President, now we have his relationship with the Council of Ministers, the people along with him. The Council of Ministers is headed by the Prime Minister. There are three categories of ministers in it: the Cabinet of Ministers, the Ministers of State with independent charge, Ministers of State. So see, the Council of Ministers are also subdivided. Three different categories. Now with each category, the Prime Minister has his role to play, or his whatever his functions are, they are determined differently in each category. Now what are they? We're going to study the Cabinet of Ministers. The Cabinet of Ministers are usually top level leaders of the ruling party or parties who are in charge of the major ministries. Usually the cabinet ministers meet to take decisions in the name of the Council of Ministers. Cabinet is thus the inner ring of the Council of Ministers. It comprises about 20 to 30 ministers. Now here we're going to study about the cabinet ministers. They are the top notch. They are the most important ones which make the main decisions. Okay, and obviously they discuss, the Council of Ministers is bigger. The cabinet ministers is a sub part. And how many are they? They are around 20 or 30 of them. So the Prime Minister, whenever any decision has to be made, he has to consult with them as well, because they work together as a team, and then they put their point forward, and the President approves of it or announces it to the nation as a whole. The Ministers of State with independent charge. That means there are certain ministers who have certain independent charge. There are the ministers who are usually independent in charge of smaller ministries. They participate in the cabinet meetings only when specially invited. There are certain sections where only if it's of their importance or their relevance that they need to be invited for that kind of a meeting, or else they are not. Then you have the Ministers of State. They assist the cabinet ministers and ministers of state. They are known as the deputy ministers. It is essential for the members of the Council of Ministers to be members of either houses of the Parliament. Any member of Council of Ministers, including the Prime Minister, who is not a member, has to acquire the membership within 6 months of his appointment. So then you have Ministers of State. Now Ministers of State, what? They have to participate in the Cabinet of Ministers and the Ministers of State with independent charge. So they are basically, what happens is, before they come into power, they need 6 months. It's required for them to be approved to become a member of state, and once they are approved, then they are essential part of the member of council. That means whatever members are, see, these are all different subcategories in the government, in the council. The Council of Ministers, has its subcategories. Who are these subcategories? I've just mentioned cabinet ministers, ministers of state with independent charge, and the third category is the Minister of State. Now, the next I will continue in your other video, the following video.